so much for your patience as we figured out our Zoom account. We have multiple Zoom accounts happening right now, so it's definitely been an adjustment to get that all figured out. But my name is Tess, and I will be doing the Success Meetup today. And for today, we're going to be going over behavior alerts and behavior automation. And we're just going to be reviewing what this tool is. What are the default settings? Because behavior alerts are something that do have default settings that are going to start running whenever you start using your platform. Those default settings can be adjusted. We don't recommend changing what we have added. There are things that you can periodically edit or add yourself. However, we don't recommend kind of taking off our default settings because we chose these to really set you guys up for continuing that engagement with your leads. So I'm going to go over what these behavior alerts are, what are the default settings, how can you manage, the messages that are going out, the statuses that you're sending it to, and what some examples might be as you kind of start maybe periodically refreshing and updating the texts and the emails that go out to your leads. So behavior automation, behavior alerts. The system is sending out communication as leads perform certain behaviors. So there will be certain behaviors that trigger texts. Text is the default type of communication, a text message. However, if you have leads in your system who do not use text, maybe they've opted out, maybe it's someone who uses a landline still. So if that is the case, the system's going to recognize that, and then it will send out an email instead. So it's going to make sure everyone's getting that message out to them. So certain leads, if they perform certain behaviors, certain activities, are going to get reached out automatically. And this is going to happen quickly so that you can really kind of be on top of this activity and this opportunity. And something else that I'm going to show you guys is you will get alerted as well. And that's your choice. You can kind of turn on that alert or not. And that way, even though you don't have to compose a text, let's say a lead comes onto your system and they start viewing the same property multiple times. The system's going to reach out for you so that happens, in a really time-sensitive way. And then you are also going to get an alert just so that you're in the loop and you can kind of be aware of the activity in your pipeline and kind of think about what you might want to do next with this lead. So first thing, let's talk about what these behavior triggers are. What are leads going to potentially do to get this automatic message sent out? So our behavior triggers, if a contact has renewed interest. So if you have someone who has been pretty inactive for at least 14 days and they come back onto your site, that activity will trigger a text message or in some cases an email. If your lead comes on at least 5 times in 1 week, right? So that's high activity. That's going to trigger a text as well. And then 5 properties within 24 hours, we definitely want to jump on that. If someone is looking at that many properties in one day, they have some type of motivation, some type of interest. 10 properties within a week, viewing a specific property 3 times, or favoriting a property. So these are the behaviors that we have set. Anytime anyone in your database who is in the designated status, and we're going to go through that next, anyone in a designated status who performs these behaviors are going to get a message. So let's talk about the default settings, and I'm going to get into our Smart CRM and kind of look at where we find this tool, how we can manage it. So a couple things to note. If you reach out to a contact or if the system sends something automated, it will not send another automated message through this tool for 3 days. So let's say a lead comes on and starts favoriting properties and it triggers a text message. And then 2 days later, they come back on and start favoriting properties. It's not going to do it that second day. So it's going to wait 3 days between contact just to make sure that you have time to work the lead. We're not bombarding them. So the system is kind of trying to protect you there. Another default setting is if you have a new lead. New leads are definitely leads that are part of these behavior alerts. However, within the first 2 weeks, they are not going to get these behavior alerts because when a lead registers, you have a specific strategy of working them. Their behaviors may be more active or different at the beginning than they're going to be the longer you work that lead. So it's kind of giving you a 2-week window to work this lead, for the lead to, come on the site. And then after that 14-day window, that's when they will start getting these alerts as their behavior continues on your site. All right, so let's look at some default statuses, and then we're going to hop into the CRM and kind of look at this tool and see how we can manage it and what some ideas are for kind of refreshing and updating our messages. All right, so when you start, these are the contacts. These are the contact statuses that are going to be included in behavior alerts. You're going to have anyone who is labeled as an active lead, your new leads who are older than 14 days, your prospects, and your sphere. It starts this way. You certainly have the option to remove any of these statuses or incorporate any additional statuses. Again, I think that this is a really great place to start. I wouldn't necessarily remove any of these groups from the alerts, but it's certainly your choice. So let's hop into the Smart CRM and kind of go through this tool and look at how we can edit and update our alerts. All right, so when I am in my KV Core platform, I'm going to scroll down to the marketing tab. So we see our vertical menu bar over here to the left. I'm going to go to marketing. And then once I'm in the marketing page, I'm going to look at this top right corner, and it says behavioral automation manager settings. Okay, so here we see the statuses. You guys can see here's our default: active leads turned on, prospect, new, and sphere. Let's say you wanted to include closed clients, right? After you close a deal with someone, if later on they come back to your website, you definitely want to reach out and see, hey, are they looking for someone else? Are they looking for a vacation property to downsize? There's definitely opportunity there. So if you wanted to add your closed leads, you're just going to toggle that on. So that's really that easy as kind of adding or removing any specific statuses from your alerts. All right, let's go down and look at the behaviors. You also have the option to turn some of these behaviors on or off for you. So do you see here it says send agent alert? Maybe you want to be notified at some of these behaviors, but you don't necessarily need to be notified each time. So lead revisits your site after 14 days. Maybe you definitely want them reached out to, but you don't necessarily need an alert. You can toggle that off and you will not get notified, but the lead will still be sent a text message or an email if they don't have text. Some ones that I definitely recommend you make sure you are getting the alerts would be, 5 times in a week, 5 properties in a day, the same property multiple times. So, this demonstrates high activity and high interest. So make sure you are going through your alerts and just kind of being aware of what is the behavior that is triggering this. Is this something that I also want to be notified about? All right, so as we go through this, you can see there is a default email and a default text. Text will go first. That is the preferred method of communication. So as long as they have a number that can be texted, we will try to send this out first. If that does not work, then the system will send out an email. So as you're going through this, and you want to go to each behavior and kind of preview what the message might be. And a lot of people, because this is default, a lot of people aren't really aware of what's being sent out. So even if you're not ready to create any new messages yet, certainly come to this spot and just make yourself aware of what messages are going out to your contacts. So if I want to preview a text, let's say this first behavior, they visit the site after at least 14 days of inactivity. I'm going to go to text and hit preview. And you guys can see that it is using this kind of smart feature to insert everyone's name. So the message is never going to feel computer automated. It's never going to feel templated. It will feel authentic. Thanks for visiting our site. Are you focused on any specific areas or property types? So we're asking questions, trying to engage, trying to get a response. Yeah, Courtney, so we're here. We went to marketing. So you go to marketing first, and then just click on all marketing. And then you're going to see at the top right corner in this kind of drop down here, you're going to see that link that says behavioral automation, manager settings. All right, so we clicked on manager settings, and then what we had done, we're just kind of walking through what the default statuses are. So right now the system automatically, this is not something you have to turn on. Right now the system is going to be looking for specific behaviors from your active leads, your new leads, your sphere, and your prospects. You can add additional statuses to this. I certainly think closed is one to consider. And then as we go down, we were looking at making sure that you as the agent, you are getting notified. So even though you don't have to respond, you at least are going to be in the loop that this action has been taken. And I know that sometimes as agents use CRMs, you can sometimes feel out of the loop when you have these automated messages going. So this is a really great opportunity, even though the system is working for you, it's your virtual assistant. You still know what's going on. So you can choose to keep all of these alerts on, or you can maybe choose a couple behaviors that demonstrate the most interest or motivation, and maybe just alert yourself of those if you don't want to be, bombarded by too many alerts. So that's certainly up to you. So we can go through and we can preview, which I recommend you guys do, preview the texts for each behavior. And then also you can preview the email. And so let's say, we went to this first one that said lead revisits after 14 days. And we preview the text and it says, hi, Heather. Hi, Courtney. Thanks for visiting our site. Are you focused on any specific areas or property types? And maybe you like this, or maybe you want to tweak it a little bit. If you want to edit it, we would just hit this edit button right next to preview. Once we hit edit, you can search for a text template. So these would be templates that you have created. I apologize. I don't know why I go too soon. These would be templates that either you have created or some preloaded templates in there. So if you already have a template in mind, you can certainly search for that. You can also click into this box and you can do kind of any quick one-off edits to the message, or you can start from scratch and compose your own message. So same for email. If we were to look at an email and we kind of walked through it and said, I want to tweak this a little bit, we'd go to edit. We can select a template, either that you have made or that has been preloaded by KV Core, or you can compose your own email. You can do any kind of quick one-off edits to the current message, or you can just start from scratch. So I want to go through strategy for a moment, and then I'm going to go through some examples of how you can edit these messages. So in terms of strategy, think about how long you have been using KV Core. If you have never edited your messages, now might be a good time to edit those alerts, because you may have the same contact who has exhibited this behavior more than once. As long as you guys haven't spoken in 3 days, remember that was one of the rules. It waits 3 days if you've already spoken. It waits 14 days after somebody initially registers. So if we were to look at this second behavior as an example, it says lead visits the site 5 times in the last week. A text goes out. Let's say a month later, the lead comes on and visits the site 5 times in the last week. They're going to get the same text. This is not something that you should worry about constantly, right? Because this is not going to hit the same lead too many times. But I would suggest maybe once a quarter, you come into your behavior alerts and you update and refresh some of these messages. Stay on top of it. This is an automated tool, but the more you work it, the more effective it's going to be for your contacts. So set a goal, make a note every quarter, come into your behavior alerts and tweak these messages so that it never feels stale to your contacts. And it also doesn't feel automated, because nobody really wants to feel that it's just an automated message. It wants to feel authentic and timely. All right, with that being said, I'm going to edit a couple and create some new messages. And you guys may like some of these. You are welcome to use any of the examples that I share. Chat in if you guys have questions or ideas. I could also kind of paste in any of these messages if you'd like. So just chat in, as we go through these examples. All right, first example. We are going to create a new text for when a lead revisits the site after 14 days. The one that is currently out that we looked at a few moments ago, it's this top behavior. The text says, are you focused on any properties or areas? Another option is, hi, Emily. Hi, Brandon. Thank you for visiting my real estate site. When are you looking to be in your new home? 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months. Couple of things that I like about this example. One, it is asking for time frame, just like the original text was asking for location. We are focusing on those basic questions, those basic qualifying questions that we want to get out of our contacts. So this is another qualifying question. Secondly, we are asking for a response. 9 times out of 10, double check your messages to make sure they are explicitly asking for a response. Checking in, asking how people are doing, letting them know you're thinking about them, that's very nice. It's not going to get a response because we didn't ask for one. So as you are going back and refreshing your alerts, make sure that you are thinking about, do I have the qualifying information? Do I need to ask my qualifying information? Am I explicitly asking for a reply? Another thing I like about this text, it's easy to reply to. We gave them options. They don't have to come up with a time frame. We gave them 3 options. And our hope is that they are going to choose one of those 3 options. They can just respond back, and all they have to do is, 1 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 12. I have also seen a version of this text that says, that letters it, like A, 1 to 3 months, B, 3 to 6 months, and then they just respond back A, B, or C. I intentionally didn't do that because agents have told me that feels a little automated with the ABC choice, and this feels a little bit more handwritten. So that's why I chose to phrase it this way, so that it feels a little bit more authentic. Hey, Angelica. Yeah, let me know if you have a question. All right, let's look at a second example. When a lead views 5 properties in the last day, this is some real motivation. This is exhibiting interest. Let's look and see what that current message says. So I'm going to go back into the CRM. Yeah, so let's get to Angelica's question. This is a great question. Angelica says, when it says first name, does the name pop up? Their name will be inserted. The brackets won't be there. So it will say, hi, Tess. Hi, Angelica. So that is kind of smart templating text that allows for you to create these templated messages. And then as they are delivered to each contact, it's going to be personalized. So you don't have to put the name in there. The system will insert the correct information. Yeah, great question. Okay, so we're looking at the one that says lead viewed 5 properties in the last day. This is some real interest here. So if I go to the text and hit preview, it says, hi, Heather, thanks for continuing to search on our site. Just let me know if I can help in any way. Okay, this kind of fits what we were just talking about. That is a very nice message. It's not asking for a reply. And this person has exhibited some real interest by, being on your site that much. So you may want to think about creating a slightly more proactive message. So here is an example of what you could say. We could say, hi, Angelica, I see you've been checking out some homes for sale. Have you been pre-approved for purchase? I work with a great lender and I can have them reach out. If someone is on your site multiple times in a short period of time, looking at multiple properties, this is a good question to ask. If they have any interest at all, the next step, as you guys all know, is pre-approval. So I am not saying, can I get you in touch with my lender? I'm not asking that question because I am going to get them in touch with my lender. I am asking if they've been pre-approved, because if the answer to that is no, then I am definitely going to set them up with my lender. So this is just an example of another message that works for someone who is displaying this type of behavior. All right, third final example is an email, because sometimes someone has opted out of text because they only want to be emailed. So you want to make sure you have, a active, successful, thought out email, just in case it needs to be used. And you also want to make sure you're refreshing them as well when you go in and look at your texts. So this third one, this is for when a lead favorites a property. So let's hop in the system and let's look at that. So the last behavior on this list says lead favorites a property. Email is first. So I'm going to hit preview and get a look at this email. And it says, hi, it will insert their name. I noticed you had favorited, and then this right here will insert that property. The system's going to do that for you. So it will put in that address that they had just favorited. I'll research the property for additional information, offers, and comparable listings. Is there any other information that would be helpful? This is a great email. And it does ask a specific question. It asks for a reply. That's going to kind of expand the search, maybe help you be a little bit more successful in finding them a home. So this is a great email. Absolutely no faults here. However, we might want to have a good second option that you can refresh later down the road. So here's another example. We can say, hi, Heather, I love 123 Main Street too, right? We're still acknowledging the property that they favorited, but we're saying it in a different way. We're switching up our language a little bit. I love, 21 Jump Street too. Let's set up a virtual tour so we can look in more detail. Which day are you available this week? I can send you a Zoom link so we can tour this property and a few others I've found. So this email not only asks them to reply, but it tries to get an appointment set. And it's an appointment that's just virtual. That's very approachable, right? You don't even have to leave the comfort of your home to do a quick virtual tour. With this being said, if this person replies to you and you set up that Zoom link, make sure you have a couple other properties, because we say in the email, we have a few others to show you as well. And that's exciting, because if they have favorited one home and you have found others that are similar to Tor, they'll probably like those as well. So this is just kind of a look at how we can edit these alerts and some examples, different scenarios of content that you guys can use. So as a reminder, again, I would just go through, make sure these are the correct statuses that work for you. Make sure you have the alerts turned on or off, depending on, what you want to make sure to get notified on. Preview your messages every few months, go in and refresh that language so that it doesn't get stale or continue to go back to the same leads more than once. All right, y'all, that is my talk on behavior alerts. What questions do you guys have? Anything that I can go over again, explain in more depth, any more examples that might be helpful? Y'all let me know. If you guys don't have any questions, I can, let's see. Nope. Okay, just me. All right, any questions at all? I really hope this was helpful for y'all. Please do chat in. If you don't have any questions, then, oh, here we go. We got one. Mirna says, once you update the message, does the message we replaced stay in the system? So yes, the message that you replaced is a template, Mirna. So it will still be available as a template. Great question. So if you come in here and you edit a message, you guys, this original text is still going to be there. Angelica says, so I do not need to set up any alerts for them. Angelica, not right now, as long as this covers all of the leads that you want covered. So just make sure there's nobody else in the statuses list. That would be really important for you to cover. Otherwise, they're good to go. This is set once you start using the platform. So this is already running. Yeah, so if somebody were to opt out of text, then it will try and send as an email. If someone has opted out of text and email, it will not send. And they probably wouldn't be in that same category anymore anyway, right? So if someone has opted out of all forms of communication, they probably still wouldn't be, labeled as active, prospect, or new. But either way, it will not, it's going to stop for that contact. Great questions, guys. Anything else? Anything else I can help y'all with? Jacqueline, what phone number is used for the text? So Jacqueline, I believe that's going to be your smart number. Oh, great. Thank you so much for asking that, Yushanda. So Yushanda is saying, can you replace the message to a specific lead, or does this go to all active leads? So you can't change the message for a specific lead. So you can't have one message going out to every active lead and then a slightly separate one to one active lead, but you can change whether or not an active lead gets it at all. So for example, people in your sphere, if you have some people in your sphere who you do not want to get alerts, you can edit that in their profile. So it doesn't necessarily have to hit every single lead in that specific status. You can go into a specific lead's profile and turn off behavior alerts. So let me show you guys that really fast. We'll go into a lead's profile. And then you guys are going to see at the top, it says timeline, profile details, alerts. So we'll go to alerts. And then if you want to do these alerts, take these alerts on or off, you will toggle that here where it says alert active. They don't have anything set up, but if they did have something set up, this is where you would toggle that off. So although you can't, modify the message for each person, you can opt specific people in and out. Yarnell, it's not going to alert you if they're opted out, because if they opt out of text, they will get an email. If they're opted out of both, then you're probably going to have already moved them into, a different status. If somebody does opt out, it will be noted in their profile. These are great questions, you guys. Anything else I can help y'all with? So Danny is saying, when I first enter a contact, should they just be a sphere? Yeah, I think, yes, Danny, a past client, I would enter as part of your sphere. Anyone that a past client, a, friend or family, someone that you just meet out, socializing, networking, that is someone who you are putting into your pipeline. And I think putting them as sphere is very beneficial. In terms of even more specific identifiers and labels, Danny, you can have within your sphere, you can have a hashtag for past clients, so that when you're looking at all of your sphere, you'll be able to distinguish how you know them. So within sphere, you can have like friends and family, past clients, school friends, parent friends, and those hashtags can help you create some smaller groups for that. Is there a way, Andrew says, is there a way to delete a lead straight from the profile page? I am not 100% on that. Let's see. I might be able to just figure it out while I'm here with you. It doesn't look like it, Andrew. Oh, here we go. Yes. All right, Andrew. So if you want to delete a lead right from their profile, over to this right section in their timeline, the section that says actions, go to more actions. And then here you will see delete contact. You're so welcome. Yeah, great question. Angelica, you can add a lender. Most of the time that is going to be done by an admin. So that is definitely something that you want. I mean, that feature is available. Whether or not you're going to be able to, I can't answer that, but that feature is available. But you want to talk to your broker admin about adding a lender, because they'd have to add a lender as a user on your platform. Yeah, Danny, I would do a marketing campaign by hashtags, especially for your sphere. Certainly. I think source will change your campaigns, but within your source, you may have smaller groups like with hashtags, and you would want to probably just tweak that main campaign, tweak it a little bit so it makes more sense for each hashtag. All right, you guys, thank y'all so much for joining me today. And please reach out in the future. Email us if you guys have questions. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks again.